Deep within every human psyche exists a hidden figure, silent yet powerfully influential. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst, identified this as the shadow. It's not a monster to be feared, but a misunderstood companion, a neglected reflection of our innermost selves. In his work, Psychological Types, Jung wrote, "The shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality, for no one can become conscious of the shadow without considerable moral effort." Understanding the shadow isn't merely an intellectual pursuit, it's an essential journey into the heart of what it means to be human. These can include anger, aggression, sexuality, envy, and other primal impulses that we suppress or repress. The shadow is not something to be feared, but rather understood and integrated. It holds valuable energy and potential for growth. By acknowledging and accepting our shadow, we can achieve a more balanced and authentic self. Ignoring or denying the shadow, however, can lead to psychological and emotional issues. It is essential to remember that the shadow is not a separate entity, but an integral part of who we are. By shining a light on our shadow, we can begin to understand its influence on our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This journey, however, demands courage, self-awareness, and an unwavering willingness to confront what lies hidden in the depths of our subconscious. Picture your mind as a grand house. The rooms you proudly display to others are brightly lit, meticulously organized, and welcoming, representing your conscious self. These spaces showcase the traits, behaviors, and accomplishments you are proud of, the parts of yourself you are comfortable sharing with the world. But every house has a basement. It's here in the dim and dusty corners where forgotten memories, suppressed emotions, and disowned aspects of ourselves reside. These are the parts of you deemed unacceptable, inconvenient, or unworthy. This cluttered, shadowy basement represents your subconscious, your shadow self. Though it's tempting to keep the basement door tightly locked, the shadow doesn't remain silent. It seeps through the cracks, influencing your thoughts, actions, and relationships in subtle yet powerful ways. Have you ever spoken a harsh word in anger and immediately regretted it? Or reacted strongly to someone else's behavior, only to later wonder why it triggered you so intensely? That's the shadow slipping through the unseen corridors of your mind. Just because the basement is hidden doesn't mean it ceases to exist. The more you ignore it, the stronger it becomes, growing in its ability to influence you from the shadows. Painful memories, repressed emotions, and unresolved conflicts can all contribute to its formation. The shadow acts as a repository for these unwanted aspects of ourselves, protecting us from psychological pain, but also hindering our full potential. It is important to note that the shadow is not static. It evolves throughout our lives as we encounter new experiences and challenges. As we mature, we have the opportunity to reevaluate our beliefs and values, integrating aspects of our shadow into our conscious personality. Recognizing these influences can help us uncover the hidden aspects of our psyche. Jung taught that the shadow forms as we suppress or reject parts of ourselves, emotions like anger, envy, or fear, as well as qualities like ambition or creativity, which may have been dismissed as unworthy. Over time, these neglected parts accumulate in the unconscious, forming a shadow that gains autonomy and exerts influence over us. Everyone carries a shadow, Jung wrote in The Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. The more we deny its existence, the more it distorts our perceptions of others and amplifies our fears. It's easy to see the shadow as a monster to be feared or avoided. Yet, much like the beast in Beauty and the Beast, its ugliness conceals an essential truth. The shadow isn't our enemy, it's a mirror, reflecting the sides of ourselves we'd rather not see. When ignored, it warps our relationships and distorts our actions. But when we confront and integrate the shadow, it becomes a source of profound strength and wisdom. For instance, someone who denies their own ambition may resent others for being overly competitive. By recognizing their ambition as a part of themselves, they can redirect it into achieving meaningful goals rather than harboring bitterness. The shadow, when embraced, becomes a trusted guide rather than a feared adversary. Consider the story of Mr. Lane, a kind and patient teacher who prides himself on his calm demeanor. Every day he fosters a nurturing classroom environment, making students feel heard and valued. One day, however, a disruptive student pushes him beyond his limits, and Mr. Lane snaps. He erupts in anger, shouting so loudly that the classroom falls silent. Immediately he feels a wave of guilt and shame, apologizing to his students for the rest of the day. What happened here? Mr. Lane's shadow, a reservoir of unacknowledged frustration and anger, had been building beneath the surface. By denying this part of himself, he allowed it to explode uncontrollably in a moment of stress. If Mr. Lane had acknowledged his capacity for anger earlier, he could have managed it more effectively. Perhaps he could have set firmer boundaries with his students or taken steps to address his own stress outside of the classroom. Instead, by suppressing his anger, he inadvertently let it control him. Jung referred to this phenomenon as projection. Projections change the world into the replica of one's own unknown face. By denying his shadow, Mr. Lane externalized his frustrations, seeing the disruptive student as the sole problem rather than recognizing the turmoil within himself. This story illustrates the importance of acknowledging and integrating our shadow. By doing so, we not only prevent such explosive outbursts, but also gain deeper insights into our own psyche. Just as Mr. Lane could have transformed his classroom dynamics by addressing his inner conflicts, we too can enhance our relationships and personal growth by embracing the shadow. Remember, the shadow is not a curse, but a teacher guiding us towards a more authentic and balanced self. This brings us to the next crucial step in our journey. And Mr. Lane's story offers a powerful lesson on the importance of shadow work. But what does it mean to integrate the shadow? And how can we embark on this transformative journey? First, it requires a willingness to face our darker aspects without judgment. This can be daunting as it involves acknowledging traits and emotions we may have long suppressed. Journaling, meditation, and therapy are valuable tools in this process. They create a safe space for exploring our inner world and bringing the shadow into the light of consciousness. Consider the act of journaling. By writing down our thoughts and feelings, we create a dialogue with ourselves. We can ask questions like, "What am I avoiding?" or "Why did I react so strongly in that situation?" Over time, patterns emerge, revealing the shadow's influence on our behavior. Meditation, too, offers a pathway to integration. Through mindful awareness, we observe our thoughts and emotions without attachment. This practice allows us to recognize the shadow's presence and understand its origins. By sitting with our discomfort, we diminish its power over us. Therapy, particularly Jungian analysis, provides a guided exploration of the unconscious. A trained therapist can help us uncover and integrate shadow aspects, offering insights and strategies for growth. This professional support can be invaluable in navigating the complexities of the psyche. Ultimately, integrating the shadow is about reclaiming our wholeness. It involves recognizing that every trait, even those we deem negative, has a purpose and potential. Anger, for instance, can be a catalyst for change, propelling us to set boundaries or stand up for ourselves. Envy can highlight our unmet desires, motivating us to pursue our dreams. By embracing the shadow, we transform it from a source of turmoil into a wellspring of strength and wisdom. We become more authentic, compassionate, and resilient, capable of facing life's challenges with greater clarity and courage. So let us follow in Mr. Lane's footsteps, not by suppressing our shadows, but by bravely confronting and integrating them. In doing so, we unlock the full spectrum of our humanity, discovering the beauty and power that lies within the darkness. Remember, the journey to self-discovery is not about eradicating the shadow, but about weaving it into the fabric of our being. Only then can we truly shine, illuminating the world with our unique and multifaceted light.